Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today we are continuing our ranking of classic and modern Doctor Who seasons from worst to best. And we are in the top 5 at this point. And at number 4 is Series 3 of modern Doctor Who, which is, of course, David Tennant's second season as the Doctor. This is my favorite series of modern Doctor Who. I absolutely love it. It really doesn't have any issues with it. Every single story in this season is good to one degree or another. It has no bad episodes, nothing I will call a bad episode. I really enjoy this. There's some wonderful art. Claudia did a really good job with the art on this. This is the steelbook that actually got me into collecting Doctor Who steelbooks. I love that art. I love that purple background. Love this box set. Or the steelbook set, I should say. You got a little line on here. I don't know where that came from. I like The Runaway Bride, if you want to count that as part of Series 3. It's a great introduction to Donna. It's a fun episode. I enjoy it. Tennant kind of goes his darker Doctor self a little toward the end, like he tends to do sometimes. I like Smith and Jones. I like Martha a lot. Martha's my second favorite modern Doctor Who companion after Donna, so I get some of both of them this season. I like her introduction story. I like how Martha's a go-getter. She gets out there. She's not afraid. She takes in what's going on around her and adjusts accordingly. And I feel like Freeman and David have some good chemistry. I feel like Tim and Martha have some good chemistry. The whole kind of rebound thing, with Martha liking him is a little bothersome, and him mooning over Rose is a little bothersome. But I like the fact that Martha grows past that. I like that we see Martha grow through the course of Series 3 and later when she comes back in Series 4 and stuff like Torchwood. We do see her grow as a character, and I enjoy that. But I like Smith and Jones. I like the Jadoon. So I enjoy that. I like the Shakespearean Code. I think it's an underrated story. So it's a nice Halloween story. I really should have had that one on my Halloween video when I did it. I didn't even think of it. That's a good Halloween story. But I enjoy with the witches and stuff. The guy playing Shakespeare does a good job. It has some nice humor in it and some nice serious in it. I love the fact Shakespeare figures out Martha's from the future and that the Doctor is an alien from another world. I enjoy that. Gridlock, another underrated story. It's some very touching moments, some really good moments with Tin and Martha. I love the fact that even though Tin doesn't know Martha very well at this point, he risks going through so much to save her. I absolutely adore that. I love that it brings the Macra back. My first introduction to the Macra, I wasn't familiar with the Macra Terror when this originally aired. But I love getting nods to classic Who, and now that I've seen Macra Terror, I love having the Macra back in this one. I like learning that he got his coat from Janis Joplin. That's pretty cool. I enjoy the ending scene with him in the face of Bo as the face of Bo dies. That's some great acting on Tennant's part, and I love the conversation between the Doctor and Martha at the end when he tells her the truth about Gallifrey. It's a very beautiful, touching scene and a very underrated story. I like the Dalek two-parter. It's not one of the best Dalek stories, but I do think it's a little underrated, and I do find it enjoyable. It's a little silly, but in the way that classic Who stories can be a little silly sometimes. So I think it's fine. I enjoy it. It's even got Andrew Garfield in it. Hey, yeah, it's a little silly, but I like it. Lazarus Experiment, I enjoyed. The only thing I can knock on it is the CGI effect for the Lazarus creature. It looked pretty rough for 2007. It looks very rough now. But other than that, I enjoy the story. Someone trying to play God, it going horribly wrong, and it having dangerous consequences. I always like that lesson, much like in Frankenstein. So I like that here. And, he accidentally turned himself into a monster, and Mark does a great job playing that character. I like the Lazarus Experiment. 42 is probably my least favorite of the season, but it's still good. It's perfectly watchable. I think Graham Harper might have directed 42. I forget off the top of my head, but I think he might have, and he's such a good Doctor Who director. So even if the story's a little, the execution of it's done pretty well. I enjoy it. Human Nature and the Family of Blood is a phenomenal two-parter. I think most people would agree with that. It's great acting all around, great filming. The clothes look period accurate as far as I can tell. They look really good. The location work looks good. The guy playing Son of Mine, he does such a good job of just being inhuman here. The way he tilts his head, the way I'd swear he never blinks, the way he talks. It just, you can tell this isn't a human being. There's something off about it. It's something trying to pretend to be a human being and not doing it well. Pulls that off so well. Gotta give props for that. And just seeing basically David Tennant practically get to play a different character, basically. And seeing, you know, the life the Doctor could have in other circumstances. I really like this two-parter. And the fact that, you know, he still kind of wants to be friends with the girl at the end, and she's like, you know, when all of these people have died, if you hadn't chosen here on a whim. And she's like, yeah, you can go now. That's kind of heartbreaking. Such a good two-parter. Such a good two-parter. Definitely one of Tennant's strongest entries on the show. And then next is Blink. I like Blink. I think Blink deserves all of its accolades. I don't think it's overrated. I love it. I think the Weeping Angels are one of the best Doctor Who villains of all time. I don't think they've ever been utilized quite as well as they were in Blink. Part of the reason they worked so well is because it was a new idea. And they've been used effectively since then, but at times. But they have been a little watered down since then. They've been taken out for victory laps a little too often. But here, they're just hugely effective. It's such a neat concept of a statue, and not necessarily every statue, but any statue. I like that. You know, you never quite look at a statue around you the same way again. And the fact, you know, they can't do anything as long as you're looking at them, but as soon as you're not looking at them, you know, they can get you. And the way they get you just by sending you back in time and living off the residual energy, that's a fascinating idea. Moffat is so good at taking the everyday mundane things and making them terrifying. He's phenomenal at that. And Blink is such an amazing episode. And then the three-parter that ends it, if you consider it a three-parter. Utopia is really good. I love Utopia. I love Derek Jacobi as Professor Yana. I love everything going on there. I love having Jack back. And then the twist at the end, and the way Derek Jacobi plays the Master is so well done. He is one of the best Masters, even though we only get a little bit of screen time with him as the Master. It's so effectively done. He just nails that performance. And especially to go from the kind professor to the Master. I mean, it's quite literally a heel turn when he turns around. Just that look on his face tells you, uh-oh. Now, the sound of drums and the Last of the Time Lords is a little anticlimactic to me. It's still good, and it's definitely, you know, a lot going on. It's definitely buzzworthy. There's definitely a lot going on in that story. But, let me slide this back in here. But it doesn't quite live up to what I would expect from my favorite season from Modern Who. And John Sims' version of the Master, especially here, is a little disappointing to me. He's a little too unhinged for me. I tend to like him in his other performances better. End of Time and World Enough and Time. I like him better in those. Here, he just doesn't quite work. I'm not saying he doesn't fit Tennant's Doctor, but it doesn't quite work for me personally. So, but it's still good. There's a lot going on. I like it. I like how they involve Martha's family, but I do find it just a tad disappointing from a season that I enjoy so much. That and the whole time rewinds back a year feels a bit of a cop-out, but I mean, every time we turn around, humans and Doctor Who have forgotten there's all these alien invasions that have happened in the modern series. So even though they've all seen them, everybody just forgets every couple years. So series 3 of Modern Doctor Who, what do you think of it? Comment down below and let me know. It's always nice to hear from you guys. Other things to do, click the like button and the subscribe button and the bell for notifications so you never miss out on another video. Plus all the fun stuff to do down in the description, links to the Patreon, links to the Amazon wish list, and of course the P.O. box is down there if there's anything you would like to send me to look at. I want to give a shout out to Paul Bailey, who originally came up with the idea of doing this list kind of one entry per week. It's a phenomenal idea. I want to give him props for that. He's doing one of those as well. And I also want to give a shout out to Stephen and Colin, two of my top tier patrons. I appreciate their continued support as I do the support of all of my patrons. And most importantly, thank you for watching.